we are here for day 7. I had to look at the present to see what day it was. It's been crazy. Last night was amazing, and I would very much like something to follow on from there, maybe an 8, maybe a 7. Dean, you've had a great track record of picking films that I haven't seen yet, so we'll see. Do you know what this one is?
I can't remember. No.
You can't remember?
I mean, I still remember some of the ones that we haven't got to yet, but some of them I've forgotten.
Hey, Tommy. Suck it open. Oh, whoa, 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 what? Is this dream capture? I love this film. And you know I think I've seen this film with you as well.
Yeah, I love this film too.
I love this fucking film. Actually, a really fun story about this movie is that I have a tattoo on my foot of a snake going through a skull, and the tattoo artist like drew up all these like goofy designs. It's like the style it's in, and I chose the one that looked more like the alien from this film, which, spoiler alert. But this is like a Stephen King adaptation. I love this movie. From what I can remember about this film is it is about a bunch of friends who befriend a mentally disabled boy who is being like picked on, and it's actually really gross, like some of the stuff that the bullies do to him, and then they find out that he has powers. And I feel like that might have been a spoiler, but I mean, it's Stephen King.
Do you want to know my fun fact?
Yeah.
So I've always loved this movie because of one of the ways that Stephen King describes memory. So I won't go into much more than that, but he uses a really good way of describing memory in this, and I've always loved that description.
Did you read the book, or are you talking about the movie?
The movie.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll look forward to that. And I'm very much looking forward to this. This is a very long movie though. It's 2 hours. Did you know that?
Yeah. One you've seen?
One I've seen, yeah. This is the only one that I've seen other than the Amityville movies. So I'm actually really looking forward to seeing this because I love Stephen King. So let's pop it on, get the candle burning, and watch some Stephen King. Because it wouldn't be a spooky series without the stairs. Someone mentioned having a handrail because I filmed videos like this before. I do have a handrail. Don't worry about my well-being. I'll be fine. I need this. I'm quite clumsy. Anyway, I just finished watching Dreamcatcher. I haven't seen that in at least, I want to say like 8 years, maybe 7 years. 6 years? Wait, Dean and I think have seen it together, so maybe like 5 years. Anyway, besides the point, it is amazing. I mean, it's hard with Stephen King films because you know the story itself is going to be amazing, and I love, you guys know I'm like a diehard Stephen King fan. In saying that, I have not read the book, so full disclosure, but you can tell that the movie tends to skip over certain storylines, not really storylines, but details, and it really gets like lavish in some areas about some certain things, and then it doesn't really go into details about like, you know, it's not like plot holes, but like how characters are getting from A to B, things like that. So there's a lot missing, but you know, because it's an adaptation, that there's a reason for that, and it's because a book that takes you weeks to read, and I know that's quite a big book, shoved into a 2-hour movie, isn't quite possible to have the same setup and the same kind of detail within the story. So it seems a little bit confusing at times. Also, I did notice that the tone was a little bit off in some sections. They have a few jokes put in there, but also the tone between, you know, the friendship and the coming of age story with the group of friends and Dudley, and then also like the aliens taking over the earth and like a war and lots of gun violence, very different tones. As I said before, the film is about a bunch of friends who befriend this guy who's getting bullied, severely bullied, and then they kind of get this power from him, and then years later they realize that there was a reason, it was fate for it to happen the whole time. And I did remember straight up when as soon as I saw the memory vault, I remembered what Dean was talking about. This film has a really cool way of expressing memory in a visual kind of aspect, where it's like someone who actually goes into their vault and all of their memories are stacked up in boxes, and they have like hidden rooms. It's like a huge library. I think it's really cool. There's so many cool parts in this movie. I will say the special effects aren't amazing, but They're good for what they were at that time. Morgan Freeman is also in this movie, and for once he plays the bad guy. Does he always play that? He never plays the bad guy, right? And he has some really like kick-ass one-liners. I wrote one down, which was, "I'll show you things you wish you'd never seen," which is like pretty badass. But I found his character quite interesting and different for him, and he's like a fun little part of the movie, I guess. But again, it's one of those things that detract him from the main story. But again, it's because it's a book adaptation, so it's hard to, you know, judge those kind of things. I will say it's really interesting with Stephen King films because, well, Stephen King adaptations, because, you know, like things like The Shining, where The Shining is like kind of like a superpower, I guess you would technically call it that, how they show that. And in this movie they do this whole like tunnel vision thing and like use all these colors, and I think it's just really interesting to see how they take what his words say and make it visual, and as well with, you know, aliens or anything supernatural and the special effects. I think it's just always interesting, the different takes on it, and I always wonder what he thinks of it. Anyway, I'll stop fangirling. I really enjoy this movie. I think it's a sick movie. I think it's a sick story, and regardless of how the movie's done, the story just shines through. I think it's a really powerful story. It's very moving, it's very sad, and yeah, I don't know, it's beautiful. To be honest, I want to give this one like a 7.5, but I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I like this film. I think it's really good, really interesting, and I just really like the story. So if I read the book, I'm sure I wouldn't think as much of the movie, but because this is all I know. What do you guys think of Dreamcatcher? Also, I'm sure someone will say in the comments that it's not a horror, but I think it technically is. It's very actiony, but it's still a horror. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today. I very much did, and thank you for sticking with me. If you are writing comments, I am watching. I'm watching to pick someone at the end. I can only pick one person, so no hard feelings, guys. This is why I don't do competitions. I always feel so bad, but I'm very excited. So I will put the people that comment the most into a random selector, and then I'll do it that way. So there'll be some fairness to it. It will be kind of luck of the draw, but also people who do comment a lot. So thank you so much for participating in that, and thank you for all the feedback. I hope you guys had a great Christmas, and I hope to see you tomorrow. I can't wait. We've still got 5 more days, so very excited to still be opening presents after Christmas. I'm lucky. Okay, I'll talk to you guys very soon. Stay spooky. Bye.